Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from beautiful Venezuela. It's time for the live stream, the K1 Visa live stream. Now, I said I wasn't going to do a live stream on Monday. Okay, I said Wednesday and Saturday. But Larry said he wanted us to do live streams on Monday too. So it's Monday, October 21st, 2024, here to give you more free information on how to process a green card, K1 visa, student visa, and no, not a student visa. I couldn't tell you how to process a student visa, a tourist visa, and a spousal visa. I don't know how to do a student visa. No idea. Don't ask me about it. But I can answer the questions about K1 visas and green cards. I can write a book on it. I've got almost 10 years experience doing this. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you any legal advice. Zero. No. What I give you is almost 10 years of in the trenches advice. I've helped hundreds of people get their K1 visas and their green cards. I've helped people get green cards, and I've helped people get K1 visas they didn't even think they were going to get. But they jumped on the channel. They came on this channel, your channel, and they learned how to do it for free, which is good, right? And we celebrate people when they have a success, when you get a visa appointment scheduled at an embassy, when you get your green card approved or your green card comes in the mail, something happens that's positive, we will give you a Mountain Dew salute. Okay, now Mountain Dew doesn't pay me to do Mountain Dew salutes. I just like Mountain Dew. I think it's a great beverage. Okay, it tastes good. And it helps my mouth keep, fresh when I'm talking for an hour or an hour and a half, giving you all this free information. And I can, I talk for a good while, and lots of people, they ask me questions that even some immigration attorneys couldn't answer the question. And I got the answer for them right away. Uno Mikey, my wife will be in the United States in 3 days. 3 días, señor prometida, esposa, pardon. Mountain Dew salute for Uno Mikey. A success story for Uno Mikey. 3 more days, Uno Mikey. It's going to be here before you know it. Tom Shug. Hi, Diego. Good morning. This is Tom from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. That's a great state, Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. I've been to Pennsylvania. Very historic part of the country. Very historical. And Uno Mikey, Medellin, Colombia. Now, Karina's been to Medellin. I've never been. I've been all over Colombia, but I've never been to Medellin. But Karina said it was great. She had a good time. Vacation. Wheezy, I have a question. That's why we're here. My fiance is from Venezuela. My wife is from Venezuela, Karina. And her letter of intent to marry for the I-121K is in Spanish. Do I need to have it translated? Yes, you do. You have to have it translated for the K1 visa application. But if she's gonna have her K1 visa interview, the scary visa interview at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, she doesn't have to have it translated for the embassy interview. But she's going to need to have it translated by a certified translator for the K1 visa application. Okay? And when you apply for the green card, you don't need it for the green card because you're already married. So, for the K1 visa interview at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia, if she's from Venezuela, I'm assuming she's going to Bogota, she will not have to translate her letter of intent to get married. But for the K1 visa application, those folks at USCIS, they don't speak Spanish. So it's got to be translated. I recommend the Spanish group. The Spanish group they translate documents for us in a couple of days. They don't pay me to say that. The Spanish group do not tell me to say that. They don't pay me anything. But they're a good company. There you go, Wheezy. Carlos, I voted today and I'm flying Thursday to Medellin and get ready for our interview in Bogota. Carlos, you can do this. And guess what? I voted today too. I voted, and the line was around the freaking corner. Mountain Dew salute for Carlos. The line for voting and for getting everything done for your prometida. The line was so long for the early voting, and I brought Karina along to learn the process. Now she can't vote because Karina's not a U.S. citizen, but she looked at the process and she said, "Okay, this, and then this, and then this." I said, "Yeah, that's how it works." She said, "Oh, that's real cool." And she said the same process is in Venezuela also, but in Venezuela, when they have an election, it's a fraud, right? It's a big fraud. Maduro didn't win that election. He didn't win nothing. He got, what, 25% of the vote? But you know how communists are. You know, they can never lose. Tom Shu, Diego, we are writing the cover letter for the adjustment of status letter. Do we put the beneficiary's married name or maiden name in the cover letter? If you are writing a cover letter for the adjustment of status, you are going to use, if your wife took your last name, then you will use her married name. When Karina put the cover letter together for her green card application, she put from Karina Ross and the address where she lives here in Florida, and the phone number and the email address as a point of contact. So when you write a cover letter to USCIS for a K-1, you're going to put your beneficiary's maiden name. When you write a cover letter for the green card, you're going to put your beneficiary's sponsor's last name, if she takes your last name, which I recommend that they do. Let me see. Wheezy, thank you. I'll send it off to the Spanish group tonight. They get it done in a couple of days. She'll be going to Bogota. Yeah, in Bogota, Colombia. Thank you again. You're welcome, Wheezy. Congratulations. You learned a lot today, right? On this channel. You just learned a lot. Sarah Tabasum, hi, I have received the NOA, the notice of action letter for both the I-765 and so for the work permit and the green card. Also appointment for biometrics. What should I expect after that? Thank you so much for your help. Well, first you get Sarah. I'll give you a Mountain Dew salute for getting this far in the process. Very good. Good job. What you're going to do now is you're going to wait. You got the appointment letter for the biometrics. You're going to go to that location on that day, at that time for your biometrics. Bring the appointment letter that was mailed to you from USCIS. Bring that appointment letter with you, or you won't be able to get in without it. Bring your passport and marriage certificate. Bring those documents to the biometrics. And we're glad to help you, Sarah. We are here for you guys. Carlos, I used the Spanish group to translate my prometida's birth certificate so we can get her military ID when she arrives and we get married. I have to get her on DS as well. Yeah, but you got to remember, good job, Carlos. Remember, the TRICARE will not accept a birth certificate in a foreign language, and you got to get it certified by a legitimate company like the Spanish group, and they will put an ATA number on the certification. The U.S. government will accept that as a certified translation for her military ID. So I'm glad you are getting forward in that process. And if you look on the translation, you'll see there's an ATA number on there. Look for the ATA number. That's what immigration is looking for. That's what the U.S. government's going to look for at the military base. The Mountain Nomads, I think the website is having issues. Is that a normal thing? Because I did some research and now so many people had the same problem. The USCIS website is always problematic. It's always being maintained or updated or down or up or whatever. That's why I don't check the status on there. When I was waiting for Karina's K-1 visa to get approved, I didn't even bother. I checked the status once a month, you know. But it does have problems at USCIS. Carlos, thanks for the recommendation for the Spanish group. No problem. It was easy, and they emailed me the translation the next day. And then you can print that in color, right? And that is an authorized legal document with an ATA number. Tom Shoe on the I-693, that's the medical exam. The civil surgeon ticked insufficient time interval for 4 vaccinations in the blanket waiver to be requested from USCIS. Would this pose a problem to the adjustment of status process? No, because the civil surgeon is telling immigration you're going to get the vaccinations, but right now there's not sufficient time, insufficient time for the wait time for the 4 vaccinations. So they're not going to deny you a green card because the civil surgeon is saying there's insufficient time, right? Did you ask the civil surgeon how much time is required to get the vaccinations completed? Maybe you should ask the doctor, how much time do you need? Maybe it's only 2 weeks. Maybe you can wait and hold off on submitting the green card application until sufficient time has passed. I mean, ask the civil surgeon, but otherwise, it's not going to be a problem. Carlos, she got her medical done last week with Dr. Jairo Dennis. Jairo, Dr. Jairo. So you're ready. Is Dr. Jairo, is Dennis or is otro? That's a different doctor. Karina said that's not Dennis. I said that. So good. Congratulations, Carlos. Now, the medical exam, wasn't that on the 9th floor? Was it the 5th floor? So different doctor? Oh, Karina says a different doctor. It's northern Bogota. All right. Tom Shoe, thank you, Diego. No problem, Tom. Remember, if the civil surgeon says, it's impossible for you to get the vaccinations done right now because of the immigration isn't going to block your green card, okay? But what I would do is ask the doctor, how long do I have to wait before I can get the rest of the vaccinations done? Because it may be only a week. I don't know. Maybe only 10 days. If it's only a short period of time, wait that short period of time, get the vaccinations done, and then have the doc sign off on it. We got our new kitty cat, Vinny, right here. This is Vinny the kitty. This is Vinny. Okay, Vinny Cara. Now, Vinny Cara is our new cat. Okay, and she likes to play. Do you know she likes to play like at 3 o'clock in the morning? At 3 o'clock in the morning, she's gonna play. She will wake me up to play. Okay, so say hello to Vinny Cara. Now, Veni is for Venezuela, and Cara is because Karina said it's for Caracas. So Veni Cara is Venezuela, Caracas. And look, isn't she cool? But she'll talk to me. When she wants something to eat, she'll go, meow. And I know exactly what she said because Karina taught me. Right, Veni? She's ready to get down. Go ahead. Let me see. Miguel, beautiful cat. Yeah, she was born in Miami. Vinny was born in Miami. Miguel, Diego, I need real estate advice. Okay, but this is the K1 Visa channel. But I'll give you some real estate advice. Okay? What help do you need with real estate? Remember, I'm retired now. Okay? So I'm giving you just what I know from now. My real estate license probably just expired a couple of days ago. But I'll help you. I'll help Miguel with real estate, and I'll help the rest of you guys with K1 visas and green card applications. The hardest part about the green card right now is waiting, because it went from 4 months to 6 months to 9 months. So it's hovering at about 9 months right now for the processing time. Okay. Number one reason is they're overwhelmed with work. They got lots of green cards to process. And number two, they need to still hire and train more people, but they're getting better. They're hiring more people and they're training more people. Some people, immigration, they'll take the job and they'll work for a year and then they don't like what they're doing. They're like, I don't like this job. I want to go do something else. So they lose a highly trained immigration officer. So you got a turnover rate. Also, that slows down the process. And it sucks, right? Because you guys are trying to get your green cards and your K1 visas. That doesn't apply so much for the embassy interviews, for K1 visa embassy interviews, because consular officers, they rotate around different countries. So, an immigration officer could be working at the embassy in Bogota for a year, get bored with Colombia, and then they put in a transfer request and they go to I don't know, to New Zealand. and go work there for a year. So it's a pretty fun job to be a consular officer for embassy duty. Miguel, I'm trying to move out from my mom's and I'm saving up. Okay, now, so what do you suggest for me and my wife to do? Buy an apartment, townhouse, or house as a first-time homeowner? Well, you don't want to buy an apartment. Okay, you rent an apartment unless you want to become a like buy a multi-unit apartment complex where you live in one and then you rent the others out as become a capitalist. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger did when he came to the United States. Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, the bodybuilder, the Mr. Olympia? When he came to the United States from Austria on a green card work permit, okay, he opened up a concrete factory. He started a construction company. And when he made money from the construction company, he purchased apartment complexes and then rented them out in Venice, California. That's how we started. Arnold started off with the president of a concrete company, a construction company. I wouldn't buy an apartment. I would look at buying a house. If you buy a townhouse, you're going to get hit with HOA fees, homeowners association fees, right? Most townhouses have these stupid HOA fees. I can't stand HOAs. All right. They tell you how long your grass can be. They get mad if you leave your trash can out overnight or whatever. So I would look at buying a house without an HOA. Don't buy a house with a homeowners association. Avoid that. And you're going to have to save up at least 20% of the down payment. But you don't need to buy $1 million house. Okay. Start off with a small house. And then go in, and then after a couple of years, you can expand it into a little bigger house. I would buy a house. I wouldn't get an apartment. I wouldn't buy a townhouse. Let me see. Tom Shu, also Diego, we wrote a check to pay the I-485 filing fee. Do we need to write another check to pay the biometrics? No, it's included. Tom Shu, when you wrote a check to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, it was for $1,440, right? For your beneficiary. Right? Tell me that's how much you paid. Well, in that $1,440 is the fee for the biometrics. So your biometrics are paid for. They're done in the United States. Once you file your I-485, it's $1,440. That includes the biometrics. You're good. Hang here. Hi, Diego. Just to inform you and your viewers that if you file for the green card before the 1 year that you did the medical exam abroad, you don't have to get another exam, only vaccinations. That's true, hang here, but most immigration officers want to see another medical exam. Medical exam. They want to see it. Immigration are getting strict. Okay, so you file for your green card and all you provide is the vaccinations. But some immigration officers want to see a new medical exam. It cost me $175 to repeat the medical exam. It was easy. And then Karina put it in her green card application with her vaccination certification. And there was absolutely no problem. This according to USCIS. Hang here, I don't pay attention to what USCIS says. Because the consular officer makes up their own freaking mind when they're adjudicating the case. So here's an immigration officer. He's got your green card application. And he said, or she says, okay, we got everything. We got the vaccinations. Another immigration officer will say, okay, we got everything, but we need a medical exam. And then you get an RFE for a medical exam. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? My advice is this. When you get to America, repeat the medical exam. Get your vaccinations recertified and put it in your green card application. Then that way, if you get an immigration officer that wants to see a new medical exam, you have it covered. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you want to play the game of Vegas craps? Not me. Now, if our cat's trying to climb up into the window. There must be another cat outside. You're not going outside, Vinny. So, to help you guys understand this a lot better, when you get to America, when you apply for your green card, repeat the medical exam. Pay the civil surgeon who is authorized by the State Department to give green card medical exams. Just do it. Just repeat it. Let me see. Carlos, Florida is notorious for homeowners associations and CDD fees. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sick of it, honestly. I'm sick of HOA fees. Waste of freaking money. Miguel, I would like to follow Arnold's steps in buying multiple apartments and then rent them out. But I've been told that buying an apartment is a waste of money due to the homeowners association. Don't buy an apartment complex in Florida. Don't do it. Don't buy condominiums in Miami. Don't buy a condo. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Hang according to USCIS, according to the K1 Visa channel, your K1 Visa channel, right here, live streaming for free, this live stream, this channel, and my 10 years of experience, almost 10 years, is telling you to repeat the freaking medical exam. Okay, that's why you're on the channel, right? To get the real advice and not what, USCIS wrote 20 years ago, and they haven't updated their websites in 20 years. Seriously, guys, if you get an immigration officer that wants to see the medical exam and you don't have it, and all you included with vaccinations, you're going to get an RFE. It's going to slow down your green card process by 2 months, 3 months, because then you're going to have to find a doctor. You're going to have to go get the medical exam, and you're going to have to resubmit the paperwork. Just do it the first time around. It's just my opinion from experience. I have seen people, real people, on this channel tell me they got an RFE because they didn't include their freaking medical exam in their green card application. People on this channel have told me that they got an RFE because their income wasn't sufficient, even though it was at 100% or 125% of the federal minimum income guidelines. If you are at 125% of the federal income guidelines, according to USCIS, you qualify for a green card. But when you mail in your green card application, the consular officer is going to say, oh, look, he's at 125% of the federal income guidelines. He's right on the line. I want to see a joint sponsor. If you are right on the line at 125% for a green card, get a joint sponsor. I don't care what the USCIS website says. Get a joint sponsor. You can either listen to me, or you can just go on your way and go buy the USCIS webpage, which is 20 years out of date, and get stuck with an RFE. Miguel, Diego, from now that you say it, I hope we don't have to wait up to 9 months for a green card. It's 6 to 9 months. Have people been getting green cards recently in short amounts of time? I saw somebody the other day get it done in 4.5 months. 4.5 months. But 6 to 9 months right now is the window of time, okay? I know it's not great, okay? I know it sucks to be having to wait that kind of wait. You've already gone through the waiting with the K1 visa application and then trying to schedule the visa interview. And then you get to America and you want to get the green card, right? Now there's a wait time. There's a lot of workload at USCIS, and they need to hire more people. Marcos Fannin Jr. Roca. That's all long. How do you fit that name on your driver's license? Hi, Diego. How long after green card is received can we apply for citizenship? You can apply for U.S. citizenship 3 years from the issue date of the 2-year green card. Does my wife need to speak English at an interview or tested in English to become a citizen? Yes, Marcos. Your wife needs to be able to speak English, read English, and be tested in English to become a U.S. citizen, unless she's like 80 years old and she's lived in America her whole life. Okay, if you're an abuela and you're like 80 years old, okay, 75, 80 years old, you've lived in the United States your whole life, you just kept renewing your freaking green card every 10 years, And then all of a sudden you decide you want to become a citizen. You're like, well, I'm 75, 80 years old. I want to become a citizen. You don't have to be able to speak English or read English. And you can take the test in Spanish. But you got to be old to do that, you know? So let me see here. Marcos, 3 years from the date of the issue of the green card. Like, here's your 2-year green card. This is your 2-year green card. Right here is an issue date on the 2-year green card. 3 years from the issue date of the 2-year green card, you can apply for citizenship. And you can apply, it's 36 months, and then you can go back 3 months minus 3 months and do it within 3 months of becoming 36 months. 3 years from the date of the issue of the green card. Yes, the 2-year green card. So we have to redo the green card for first. That's correct. Then wait a year and apply for citizenship. You got it. Marcos, Fanon Junior Roca, you are top of the class today. Immigration is going to get some money out of your wallet, man. Immigration makes some money. This is how they run this program. We pay all these visa fees, and immigration uses the visa fees to pay for their salary and the paperwork, etc., etc. So you got your 2-year green card. You're going to look at the issue date. Karina's issue date on her 2-year green card was June 26th, 2024. So June 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. So in June of 2027, Karina can apply to become a U.S. citizen. Actually, in April, May, or June, right in there, April, May, or June of 2027, Karina can apply to become an American citizen. She's going to have to be able to speak English, read English, pass the civics test in English, and she knows the answers to most everything about our country, but it's in Spanish. She's just got to learn it in English, and she's doing good. She's getting there. She was taking a test yesterday on her iPhone for citizenship. You know, she asked me this question and that question, and that's how it is. But you get your 2-year green card, right? Here's your 2-year green card. 3 months before your 2-year green card, 3 months before it expires, not within 90 days of expiring your 2-year green card, you apply for the 10-year green card. And then you get your 10-year green card, and then 3 years from the date of your issued 2-year green card, you can apply for citizenship if you are married to a U.S. citizen and came in the country on a K-1 visa. If you came in the country on a work permit as not married to a citizen, you came in, you're working for a company, you know, let's suppose Elon Musk hired you to work at his plant in Texas because you got these superior skills. He sponsored you. You got a work permit. You got your green card. You're going to have to wait 5 years if you get accepted to live in America to become a U.S. citizen. So if you are married to a U.S. citizen, you wait 3 years. If you come to the United States as a sponsor from another process other than a U.S. citizen marriage, then you got to wait 5 years. Marcos, perfect. Thank you. So Marcos, you got it, right? You understand this now. You pay for the 2-year green card. You pay for the 10-year green card. And then 9 months after you get the 10-year, you go ahead and file the N-400. Now, you can file for U.S. citizenship online. You can file, as of now, October 21st, 2024, you can apply for U.S. citizenship online. Okay? But you cannot file for a K-1 visa or a green card through marriage online. You have to do it via paper and submit evidence. You look at that bandage on my finger? I was cutting a bagel. And Karina's got these really sharp knives. They're really good. They're awesome. And thank goodness there's a bone in my finger because the bone stopped the freaking knife. But anyway, then I put a big bandage around it. There was a lot of, it was a mess, I tell you. Karina was at work, so she didn't see it. If Karina saw the mess I made, she would be passed out on the freaking kitchen floor. Okay, so what questions do we have? Tom's got it. Hang Ears is taking information off USCIS website, and it's out of date information. Miguel's doing good. And I wouldn't buy a condo or an apartment complex in Florida. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Number one, the insurance is going to be really high because of the insurance. Okay, the home insurance is going to be absolutely insane. We just got hit by what? 2 hurricanes? 2 hurricanes. Insurance companies are like backpedaling. I don't know if I want to cover people in Florida anymore. So think about that. The Mountain Nomads, why don't you read my comment? Well, I did read it. Mountain Nomads, I read your comment and I responded to your question. Let me go back up here and see if I can find it. The Mountain Nomads, I think the website is having issues. They're always having issues. Is that normal? It's normal. I've done some research and I know many people have had the same problem. I read that and I responded to you, and I don't pay attention to USCIS websites. I don't do it. The only time I paid attention to USCIS website was when they sent me a message on my phone that said Karina's visa was approved. Okay, one. And then the next time I looked at the USCIS website, I was on a scheduled the visa interview and the biometrics in Bogota. I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness! I'm good. So what the Mountain Nomads? I read the comment. Maybe they'll run in a commercial. I don't know. YouTube run commercials on the channels. That's how good YouTube gets paid, I guess, because I can do this for free. I do this for free for you guys, so you don't have to pay an immigration attorney thousands and thousands of dollars. I was trying to send another comment, but it doesn't go through. We'll send it now. Write another comment. Francois, good evening, Diego and Karina. This is a nice surprise. Now, Francois, don't you remember? Larry Piercy said, I want you to do a live stream on Monday at 6 p.m. Right? So here we are doing a live stream at 6:32 p.m. because Larry wanted a live stream. Where's Larry? Where is he? He wanted the live stream. Karina's been up since 3 o'clock this morning. Okay. She works a really crazy shift. And here she is on a live stream. Still, she just wants to go to sleep, waiting on Larry, and he's not even here. So Francois, let's give a Mountain Dew salute to Francois. We hope you're doing well. How's Hamid doing? We hope Hamid is doing well, getting accustomed to living in New York, upstate New York. Are you teaching him? Does he has he familiar with do you have like a mass transit system where you live, or do you have to get around by car? Or did you buy Hamid a skateboard and say, hey, here's a skateboard. You go run around on a skateboard. This time is about SEAC. This SEAC.state. Now, SEAC is the Consular Electronic Application Center. Putting my case number, it keeps saying your search didn't return any data before I was in transit. Now it doesn't show any data. So before you were in transit, now it doesn't show any data. Well, here's the secret. Quit looking. Don't look at it. Okay? Don't look at it. Wait. And don't look at it. Because you're going to get the ready status. Wait about a week. Where did the paperwork get sent to? Remind me of the country. Was it Morocco? I'm trying to remember which country. Francois, Hamid is doing well, loving American food. Karina loves American food. She loves chili. I make chili for Karina, and she puts it in arepas. So she combines American chili with Venezuelan arepas. Can't beat that, right? Okay, Morocco, the Mountain Nomads is going to Morocco. Check the status in about 10 days. Give it another 10 days. Francois, you're funny. You got to be funny in this process, right? This K1 visa green card application process is not fun. It's not fun. It's a long process. It's expensive. It's stressful. And every single day you're on pins and needles waiting for some kind of notification from immigration. The whole process sucks. But my recommendation is this. When you get the chance, become a United States citizen And then you don't have to worry with this immigration crap anymore. Francois, I found out today that a certified divorce decree is required in New York for a marriage license. Yeah, well, that's New York. In Florida, it wasn't required. But in New York, it's required. So you got plenty of those, right? Didn't you get plenty of those made up? Plenty of copies? If I remember when you were getting ready to submit all the paperwork to Hamid in the United Arab Emirates, I'm thinking that I had mentioned to you to get at least 5 certified copies of your divorce decree. I got like that down here. 5 certified copies of the marriage certificate, 5 certified copies of your divorce decree, 5 certified copies of any death certificates, 5 certified copies of any annulments. If you're in the Philippines, if you are in the Philippines and you know it's impossible to get a divorce in the Philippines, the Catholic Church will not permit it, but they will permit an annulment. Okay, you got to get certified copies. Francois, I do have extra copies of the dreadful decree. Yeah, so you paid attention to class on the channel. You paid attention to what I said. You got extra copies just in case you need it for something else. Now you find out that you need it for the marriage license, and you have it. So you didn't have to pay for another one. You didn't have to do all that. You could get it. You already had it ready to go, right? So Francois gets 10 extra points for planning ahead. Okay, I got my Venezuelan hat on today. This was Karina bought this for me in Caracas, Venezuela, and we give everybody in Venezuela, a Mountain Dew salute. And the Mountain Nomad says, "Congratulations, Francois." Mountain Nomads, quit checking the status, okay? You're going to give yourself a headache. Wait about 10 days, then check, okay? Because if you keep looking every day on your phone at USCIS and the website's down for 3 or 4 days, and which is normal, okay, you're going to get a headache. You're going to get sick. Don't do it. And don't worry, your beautiful K1 visa will be in Casablanca, Morocco, sooner rather than later, and it's going to get there, and then you're going to pay the visa fee, and you're going to schedule the interview, and your family's going to be reunited. 2 people from Morocco in the past 5 days have got their K1 visas. Francois Livingston, thank you. The Mountain Nomads, my Moroccan fiance, loves it here in the USA, and so would you. In the USA, I don't know about being in New York. It's cold, and you get taxed out of the you-know-what. But here in Florida, we have hurricanes, and it's hot. But we don't get taxed like you do in New York. So, it's like you got to balance it out. Because if you live in New York City, they tax you for walking on the sidewalk, on the cracks. There's cracks in the sidewalk on 42nd Street. Francois Livingston, taxes left and right, Diego and Karina. Yeah, you go into a restaurant in New York City, and half the bill is freaking taxes. The service tax, the gratuity, and then the New York sit-down tax, and then the stand-up tax, and then leave the restaurant without washing your hands tax. New York City would be so much a better place, okay, if they would eliminate probably 80% of all that crap tax that they put on people. More tourists would come and then generate more money and more revenue from the people that actually live in New York City, because people would eat out more. People would spend more money. The higher the taxes are in a city or in a state, okay, the less people spend money, because they got to save up for freaking taxes, especially property taxes. Texas has got probably Texas and New Jersey have got the highest property taxes in the freaking country. I was looking to maybe live in Texas. Forget about that. I will not live in Texas. I researched, I'm a real estate agent, remember, retired. I looked at the property taxes in Texas. It's absolutely insane. The property taxes in Texas are insane. The mountain nomads. I'm so excited to explore the United States mountains. Very good. New Mexico, the Sierra Nevadas, Colorado, Nevada. Yeah, the Sierra Nevadas especially. And Utah. I think there's mountains there in Utah, Bryce Canyon. You want to explore the mountains. So many adventures to come with my beautiful future wife, because we are nature lovers, especially the mountains. So you, mountain nomads, thank you so much, Diego. Mountain nomads, you need to live in Nevada. Number one, if you live in Nevada, there's no hurricanes, there's no tornadoes. Okay, the summers are hot. Okay, very good, hot summers. There's no income tax on. There's no state income tax. The gasoline tax may be a little high, but you can overcome that. Nevada would be a great place to live if you love mountains and country, and not so much country but nature, because Nevada is close to Utah and Colorado. Okay, you can go to and southern and northern California, but you don't want to spend too much time in California because you never know when they're going to have a freaking earthquake. Okay, if you're going to take a vacation to San Francisco, I recommend go spend one night. That's it. Because it may be that night that they have the big one. You know, the San Andreas fault starts moving around, and then your whole freaking weekend is messed up. So the mountain nomads, I'm glad that you are looking at going into exploring this country. Remember, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. For those folks who are getting ready for their U.S. citizenship test, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. Okay? In a democracy, the popular vote wins the election, like in Venezuela. Okay? Well, they didn't win. The people won, but Maduro's a freaking communist fraud anyway. But in a democracy, they don't have an electoral college. The popular vote wins, which means the people don't get represented like they should. In a constitutional republic like the United States, we have electoral college. California's got 55 electoral college votes. Florida, I think, has got 30. I think like Montana, Colorado, I think New Mexico's got like 5 electoral college votes. So every state has an electoral college vote. Okay. So when the state wins, so let's suppose Kamala Harris wins Colorado, which she probably will, she'll get 5 electoral college votes. Kamala Harris will probably win California, which means she'll get 55 electoral college votes. But Donald Trump's going to win Florida, and he's going to get 30 electoral votes, and he's going to win Texas, and I think Texas has got like 20 plus or 30. So that's how the election works in America. Okay, you got it? Marco Hernandez. Hola, Diego and Karina. Diego, I need some advice. My fiance finally has her K1 visa interview in Ciudad Juarez, which is where? Mexico. This November. What do you recommend for us? Both are really nervous. Well, let me give you a Mountain Dew salute, Marco, for the visa interview success, getting scheduled. That's great news to hear. I'm glad to hear that. And what advice? Number 1, don't be nervous. Number 2, know everything about each other. Karina knows everything about me. She knows the shirt size right here. She knows what my waist size is for my pants. She knows everything about me. Everything. And I know everything about Karina. Everything. So if the immigration officer asks you a question about your sponsor, or you're going to know the answer, because you're going to know everything about your sponsor. All right? What's his favorite food? What's the color of his car or her car? Does he have any family members? The questions that you could get asked at the immigration interview in Ciudad Juarez. Have you, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, have you ever been to the United States before? Have you entered the United States without illegally? They could ask that question. Do you have any family members in the United States? How did you develop your relationship? When was the last time you saw your sponsor? Etc., etc., etc. Just relax, Marco. You've got this. Francois, Diego, when did you say it's safe to relocate if we wanted to? When you get the green card. When Hamid is holding his, let me use this one. When Hamid is holding his green card in his hand, he's got his green card. He's looking at the picture. Oh, muy guapo. Right? There's the green card. When it's in his hand, then get the hell out of New York. Move to another state where you don't get screwed on your taxes. Francois, Nevada, with your qualifications in the medical field, you could go work in a doctor's office in Nevada and make 3 times as much money. Why do I say 3 times as much money? Because you're not going to be paying as much in freaking income tax to the communists that run the state of New York. That's what they are. They're communists. They're Marxists. They're horrible people. They're horrible. President Trump got the hell out of New York. He moved to Florida. He got a massive pay raise. Why? Because he doesn't pay income taxes to the communists in New York anymore. Okay? You can do this, Francois. When Hamid gets his green card in his hand, get out of New York, go live in Nevada or the Panhandle of Florida. I wouldn't go to South Florida, not because it's not a good place to live, but because of the hurricane threat. It's the highest in South Florida. In the Panhandle right here, we usually watch the hurricanes go across the Gulf of Mexico. We don't usually see them hit us. It's very rare, every 20 years or so. Okay? But I still have it in the back of my head. There's a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm watching this freaking Weather Channel. But get out of New York, Francois, with your qualifications. Okay? You can get hired. Florida needs people like you. Nevada's looking for people like you for your qualifications. Don't get in a comfort zone. Don't get in a comfort zone. Marco, gracias, Diego. De nada. I've literally watched you, and by asking questions, you have helped us more than what you think. Well, Marco, I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute, Marco, because I want to see you get reunited with your family. Ciudad Juarez, on the border of the United States. Nice, and there's a nice airport. I think isn't there an airport there, an international airport? And if you live like in Las Cruces, New Mexico, or if you live in Texas, right there in the border state with New Mexico, it's much easier to catch an international flight out of Ciudad Juarez. So you get in your car, you live in New Mexico or Texas, drive there and buy your international plane tickets to go on vacation instead of buying them in the United States, because it's half the price. But Marco, we are glad to hear that you have learned a lot from this channel, and we saved you a lot of money. We're trying to get Francois to leave New York. Now, I don't have a problem with the people of New York. The people of New York are fantastic. The problem is the government. Now, this isn't a political channel. It's a K-1 visa channel. It's a green card channel. But I want to help you become American citizens too. So the goal should be to become a U.S. citizen. Right? 3 years from the issue date of your green card, apply for citizenship. And then you don't have to mess with immigration anymore. But in order to become a U.S. citizen, you got to know about how the country works. How does it work politically? MB, we submitted our work permit and green card application in August. How long will it take for us to get the green card and the work permit? Thank you. For the green card, about 9 months. So you submit it in August. So I don't know when in August. Let's suppose you said that the beginning of August. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So by February or March of 2025, you should have the green card. In about 3 to 4 months, you should get the work permit. Marco, I make $60K a year. Do you think we need a sponsor, or is that good enough to provide for my fiance? She lives in Tijuana. I live in Ohio. Ohio, okay. What's your family size? If your family size is just the 2 of you, you're good. Okay. But if your family size is like, let me see here. It all depends on your family size. How big is your family size? Then you're good. If you make 30 grand a year, $34,000, $30 to $34,000 a year, you don't need a joint sponsor if you're just a family of two. Okay? If you make 60 grand a year, you are perfectly good. You don't need a joint sponsor. But you got to show that over the past 3 years. When you apply for the green card, they're going to ask you for the 3 years worth of income, okay, on the 864. So you're going to provide your last tax return for 2024. You're going to write down how much money you made in 2023 and how much money you made in 2022. You put that on the 864. As long as you got a track record of making that kind of money, you're good to go. You got it? So, Marco, you are good to go. Okay, guys, I've been talking for almost an hour. Larry Piercy said you need to do live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. Normally, I was doing it on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Well, here it is Monday, and there's no Larry. Marco, got it. Thanks again. All right. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna log out of here. Today's Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'm gonna give everybody a Mountain Dew salute unless there's any more questions. If there's any more questions, I'm gonna answer them for you. Orlando Lopez. Hello, lovely couple. Did Karina take your last name on the marriage certificate, or is that done on the I-485? It's on the I-485. You do not take the last name on the marriage certificate, Orlando. Karina's and I's marriage certificate has Karina's maiden name and my last name. That's a legal document. You cannot, that's how that works. Okay? The maiden name goes on the marriage certificate. But on page 1, if I can find it, I don't know, it's here somewhere. On page 1 of the 485, right here, and then this is where you change the last name, Miss Beneficiary. And here's where you put the name you had before you got married. So Karina Ross went there, and Karina maiden name went there. When her green card came in, it was Karina Ross. Because on page 1 of Form 485, she changed her last name to my last name. You don't do it on the marriage certificate. This is where you do it. This is where you do it. Orlando Lopez. By the way, sorry for your loss. Yeah, it was horrible. A horrible thing. Okay? It was horrible. But we got Vinny. We got Vinny Cara, and she's right behind us trying to get through the window. So I opened up the blinds, and now she's trying to climb out the window. I don't know why, because it's dark out there. But, cats can see in the dark, so there must be something out there she wants to go play with. Right here. Well, she heard her name, so she came over to me. She's like, hey, that's my name. So she walked over to me. And now she wants to go see Karina. There we go. There. Now that's Vinny. Vinny Cara. Venezuela, Caracas. Okay, guys. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back on Wednesday. And we got to answer Orlando's question real good. And if it's, we answered a bunch of questions today. And we'll see you again on Wednesday.